Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match preview for Manchester United versus Spurs. And look, Manchester United get 3 points in their opening game of the season against Wolves. Wasn't the greatest performance in the world, but 3 points on the board. We've got plenty to talk about today. We're going to talk about intensity. We're going to talk about team selection, score predictions, all of that good stuff. Like always, get your comments into the comment section below and let's get right into it. So Manchester United travel to Spurs for the second Premier League game of the season. And look, like I said already, 3 points on the board. I won't say good start to the Premier League season though for Manchester United, because it wasn't. And the biggest concern I had in relation to the game last weekend was the intensity levels. We looked so far off it, I have to say. And it's something that I am wanting to see improve in our second game against Spurs. And I think if Manchester United go into the game and play the game with the same level of intensity, with the same level of enthusiasm, with the same level of communication, I think we're going to get overrun. I will go as far as saying that. Now, look, we do know. Look, we'll get on to Spurs in a few minutes, but Harry Kane is no longer with Spurs. But I do think that there was parts of the game last weekend that Manchester United were so poor in, and obviously the intensity levels were first and foremost. We allowed Wolves to dictate the tempo of the game, and you're thinking Manchester United, opening game of the season, Monday Night Football, under the lights at Old Trafford, you're thinking, yeah, this is going to be good, and it wasn't. We were lackluster. We didn't look like a team that had ever played together before. It nearly felt like we were still in Las Vegas or, San Diego, wherever we were throughout pre-season. So Manchester United are going to have to up their intensity levels. And it's of course it is also understandable that players are probably not up to full fitness yet as well, you would have to say. Casemiro looked off the pace in terms of his fitness levels. Now, he did have a difficult time of it, maybe doing that defensive role on his own. Yeah, Manchester United are going to have to improve an awful lot if we're going to get out of this game. Now, the second area I do want to focus on is the midfield area. And obviously, look, we already did mention Casemiro. He looks to me, he's a little bit overweight. I've no problem in saying it. His face looks a little bit puffy. And I said it in my match review after the Wolves game the other night that he is still a fantastic footballer. He reads the game very well. His positioning is very good. He's making a lot of very important tackles, which he did do on, last weekend or Monday night. I think that kind of defensive role that he's looking to do on his own, we've seen Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes being caught quite high up the field together. It leaves an awful lot of space behind for Casemiro to cover on his own. And I think in fairness to Gary O'Neill with Wolves, he identified that before going into the game. And Wolves broke on us a number of times through the midfield. And only for poor finishing from Wolves, we would have conceded a couple of goals. And of course, Andre Onana in the goal, having an absolutely phenomenal game. So we're going to have to shore up that midfield. I don't know, does it mean you maybe play a more defensive player like Scott McTominay, who looks like he's going to stay at Manchester United now? Or do you tell Mason Mount you've got to sacrifice a little bit of your forward runs and the attacking side of your game to just maybe keep an eye on Casemiro? And Casemiro says, no, look, I need you to sit in here for 5 or 10 minutes and, until we get a foothold in this game again. Midfield is going to be vitally important on the weekend against Spurs, and you are playing a better team on the weekend now with Spurs, and I think it's going to be a game where if we don't get our communication and our tactics spot on, if we put in a lackluster performance like we did against Wolves, I worry for us. But if we can get it all right, then I think Manchester United are probably the better team and should get the job done. Now, let's talk about Spurs. And look, we do know that, obviously they've lost Harry Kane, their main goal scorer. But look, they're coming off of the back of a 2-2 draw with Brentford away from home is not a bad result at all. We know the qualities that Brentford possess and how hard of a ground it is to go and get something out of. And we've seen James Maddison hit the ground early. He's got 2 assists already in his opening game for Spurs. So Spurs are not going to be a walkover at all. They've still got a lot of danger within their squad. Heung-min Son being the main one. Richarlison is now, their main man up front. And, the one positive that I can take out of Manchester United's performance against Wolves last week was our back five. Goalkeeper and back four I thought were very solid. We've seen Wan-Bissaka put in a very good performance. Varane, of course, was just his consistently good performances all around, got the goal as well. Martinez, there was talks of him coming off at half-time because of a yellow card. Subsequent reports have suggested there was a slight niggle there. We will find out. Obviously, we haven't had Erik ten Hag's pre-game interview before this, so we'll find out whether he plays or not. So, look, I think defence is going to be important coming up against Spurs because, look, they've scored 2 goals against Brentford, and Brentford are, a difficult team to play against, especially in their home ground. Okay, so let's get into my predicted 11 for the game on the weekend. And look, I think when it comes to the back four, back five, I think it's quite easy to pick. I don't see a reason why we would change anything. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Andre Onana in the goal. I'm going to stick with a back four of Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Varane and Martinez. Now, we did mention already that Martinez potentially might have a slight knock. We'll know closer to the time whether he's actually going to play or not. But I'm going to go with that back five. They've been solid in the last game. They defended very well. And the majority of last season as well, it has been, of course, without Onana, of course. But that back four has been a mainstay ever since the World Cup ended last year. And they've been doing really well together. So, look, I would hope for another clean sheet, good, solid defensive performance. And then it's just about, putting things into place on the other end of the pitch. But when we talk about midfield, guys, again, it could be very easy to change the midfield on the back of last week's performance. But I think Erik ten Hag will potentially stick with the same midfield. So that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to stick with a midfield three of Casemiro, Bruno and Mason Mount. Now, let me know in the comments what you think. I think there's a lot of debate over Mason Mount, whether he should play or not. Let me know in the comment section below. I think he will play. I think he has to play. I think he needs to be bedded in as quickly as possible. And the only way you can do that is to get game time on the field. Bruno Fernandes had a really poor game against Wolves on Monday night as well. Gave the ball away an awful lot. And I think that's something that we're going to have to look at as well. But I think it's absolutely vital that we get that midfield three right for Spurs on the weekend because, like I said previously, Casemiro was asked to do too much in terms of defensive work against Wolves. We were overrun in midfield because Fernandes and Mason Mount both got caught too high at the same time. So it's something we are going to have to look into. When it comes to the forward line, now, this is what I'm going to go with. Now, there can be some debate here, and obviously people will have their own opinions, and let me know in the comment section below. The forward line that I would go with, I would keep Garnacho, I would drop Anthony, and I would bring in Sancho in his place. I think Sancho has to come into the forward line. I think he is, he has shown in pre-season, and when he came on as a substitute against Wolves on Monday night, that, his energy levels were good. He was looking to get at full-backs. And look, we know that Garnacho didn't have the best of games, but I think he's a young guy. I think me personally, I would say, if he was to be dropped, how would his confidence feel after it? So I would be under the impression of going, look, go out and play, no pressure, have another go at it. I think Anthony is there's no end product with Anthony, and he needs to find that, or else, in my opinion, he shouldn't be in the starting 11. We've paid an awful lot of money, and that's not his fault for him, but his decision making and his finishing has to improve. He's too predictable. He turns in on his left foot. When he does get a chance on his left foot in a bit of space, it tends to be high and wide. There's no productivity from him. I love his defensive work. He's always looking for the ball. He's always showing for it. No questions with him there. But you're a forward, your end product is you have to be chipping in with goals or assists. And he's not. And I know we're only one game in, but this is coming off of the back of similarities that we've seen with him last season as well. So for that reason, I'm going to bring Sancho in on the right-hand side. And we did see Sancho last season play quite well the number of times that he did play on the right. We do know he prefers to play off the left. Similarly, Rashford likes to play off the left as well. I don't see any other reason, or I don't see any reason how we can play him on the left-hand side, because we've got no recognised centre-forward until Rasmus Højlund is back. So I think Rashford will probably start. We do know that Martial did play minutes in a behind-closed-doors friendly against Everton during the week as well, but I think he's probably not going to be up to match fitness to start. So that's going to be my starting 11. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Now, let's go with a score prediction here. And look, I think this is going to be a close game. I won't lie. I think Manchester United should have enough to get the job done. If we're looking at team versus team on paper, Manchester United are a better team. You would say that. However, we do know that Manchester United continue to struggle to score goals. We've scored 1 goal already this season, and it's from a centre-back. On the other side of the field, we are defending quite well. We've carried that over from last season. We had a good defensive record last year, and we've carried that into the first game of the Premier League season so far. For that reason alone, I don't think it's going to be a goal fest. I really don't. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Manchester United. I think we should have enough to get the job done if we can improve our performances on the back of the game against Wolves on Monday night. We have to improve our performances, our intensity levels, our communication, everything we've mentioned previously. I think our defence will give us the opportunity to go and win the game because we've been defending quite well. So for that reason, I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Manchester United. And again, let me know your score prediction down below in the comment section. So there we have it, guys. Look, I'm really looking forward to this game. I have to say, United are back. The games are going to start coming thick and fast over the next few weeks as well. So absolutely delighted to be back. We will be live for the game on Saturday. It's a 5:30 kickoff, so we will be live from 5 o'clock. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Hit that bell notification as well. You will get notified anytime we've got new content up and anytime we go live as well. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.